Okay, good morning. We're doing a video today about the onions. Today is the 14th of January, and this is the sweet onions that I raised the seed from last year, and there's videos about that. And you saw the video of me planting these already. And these are a couple of weeds right here I'm pulling out. Here's another weed. There's a weed. One thing about using worm castings is they're not always weed free. And I didn't heat this up because the whole point of the worm castings was to have the good microbes in the soil. So that's pretty awesome. This one is the New York storage onion. So I planted these on January 4th. That makes these guys 10 days old. And they're just coming up beautiful. Here's a couple of weeds. I'm going to grab those out. So the New York storage onions, I ran out of seed when I got right here. So I had a couple and I put them in here, but the germination isn't super good. And on these last ones I was putting in like one seed, but over here I was putting in 5 or 6. But I didn't get 5 or 6 germination in all of them. See, here's 2 that are empty, and I know I had 5 or 6, 7, maybe 8 or 9 seeds in here. But this seed packet was 2 years old, and onion seeds don't come up good when they get old. So that's an important thing to remember. So I'm not going to have as many onions as I thought. So today I think I'll do a replant, and I'll plant another tray of onions. But this tray, we have some like this row right here looks really thick. They're coming up thick. This row looks more thin. So I'm going to look here and I'm going to do an average because I know that I want a lot of onions. So I have 100 foot in the bed and I'm going to put 6 across. So I'm going to say 600 onions. So because 6 go across and it's 100 feet long, but I can get 3 onions per foot. So I'm going to times that by 3 and that equals 1,800 onions. And so I need about 2,000 good strong plants to produce onions. But I'm going to plant them thicker than that because I want green onions and smaller onions before they get huge. I want maybe 2,200 onions. So I'm going to calculate this. I'm going to show you how I do that when you're looking at this. So this row right here, across here, it's a thinner row. They're not coming up as quickly. And there's not as many in it. So that's a thin row. And then over here I have some, that one's pretty thick, that one's pretty thick. So what I do is I don't count a thin row, and I'm not going to count a super thick row. I'm going to pick an average row. This row looks average. It has some vigorous ones and it has some with not so many. So I'm going to count each onion in here.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So I have 75 onions. I'm going to clear this out and I'm going to put in 75. So 75 onions in a row. So that's my average between a thick row and a small row. So how many rows do I have? I have 20 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to times that average by 20 rows here, because I have 20 rows. So times 20 equals, so that's 1,500 onions. And then in this one, I'm not going to do this one here because it's a different kind, and I don't have more seeds to plant this one anyway, so doing the average doesn't really help. It helps with my total, but I've only got 1,500 onions. And now I'm sure I have another 600 in here. So I probably have enough, but I think I want more onions. You know, it's weird times we're living in right now. My wife went to the store the other day and she was in the produce section looking around, and there were no there were no bags of onions, and the thing where you could just pick out a few onions, they didn't have a limit on it, but it was weird. There weren't very many onions in the grocery store. I don't know. COVID has done strange things to the world we live in. So I think I'm just going to plant another tray of onions because I'm a little bit short. I wanted this tray to be just as thick as this tray, and I wanted this tray to be thicker than it is. Like this one has 1 onion in that cell, and it should have 5 or 6. This one has 2. This one has 1. This one only has 1. Let me see. This one is a 0. Most of them have at least 1. So that's interesting. So they didn't grow as good. So I'm going to do a replant today. I'm just going to plant a whole nother tray. And if I have too many, I'll plant a bunch outside. My main crop is going inside this year, but we'll go ahead and plant some outside because we had onions that we could eat that were outside. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out, you know, I'll figure out a place to put them outside because people need food. So I'm going to plant another tray of onions. It's certainly not too late to plant them. Now's the time of year to plant them, all the way up to like February 20th. So we're in good shape to do that. So I'm just going to set this aside. So here's the onion seeds that I planted. And I thought I was done, so I don't have a tag made for this. And here's the seeds. I'm going to go ahead and plant them nice and thick like I did the others. But I know they're not germinating quite as well as I hoped they would have. So I could plant them a little bit thicker and it'd be okay. So I'm just gonna... I'm shooting for like 5 seeds, but I'm gonna try to go fast. And I'm not worried about it. If 15 seeds goes in one, that's fine. I don't want 100 seeds in one. That'd be too many. That'd be too crowded. Alright, now I'm going to move the seed out of the way. Always seal up your seeds in a watertight container so that you don't ruin your seeds. And then I'm going to set this out of the way for a moment. Wallpaper is not popular nowadays. But this is an old-fashioned wallpaper brush, and I find that it works very good in the potting bench. So there's that. And then I just set that down. And we're going to water it. Nice and even. I'm not letting the water pool on top because that washes your seeds away. And then we cover this with plastic. I have this little guy to cover it with. I prefer saran wrap, but this works. Okay, there you go. So that is our onion update for today. That's our replant.